live from the courthouse steps, and my hair's a mess. I am going into a court trial here this afternoon, folks. So I hope you can hear me. Thank you for tolerating me in my travel day yesterday. It was quite interesting, to say the least, but I've arrived. I am back in California. Lucky me, I'm at the city of Corona today, getting ready for a court appearance. I know we talked a little bit last week about applications, and you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, we seem to be having some tremendous difficulty understanding the new tenant screening rules, regulations, etc. So let me try to put this in perspective for you and say it as simply as I can. Please pay attention. And mind you, I'm still letting people on here, so bear with me. The application screening, I'm going to keep it simple, okay? I want you to just try to do the same. If the tenant shows up to apply for your property and brings a printed out credit report, you cannot charge them a dime. Period. End of report. You cannot charge them an admin fee. You cannot charge them anything. No money. Okay? Zero, zilch. We used to be able to pass the expense of running a credit report onto the tenant. We can't do that anymore. Stop overthinking it, okay? You cannot charge an admin fee, and still the idea is no expense to the tenant, okay? I'm going to make this as easy, simple as I can. They are now providing you with a credit report. You cannot charge them, okay? Got it? You can decide if you want to use their credit report that they provided you, okay, or if you want to spend your money to run your own and see if they're a liar, liar, pants on fire. It's your choice. Got it? It's the cost of doing business. I would be pre-screening if it were me, particularly, and pre-screening so that if they're not income qualified, I'm not even going to bother running their credit. They don't make enough money. So start right there. Okay. If your qualifications are they must make 3 times the amount of the rent monthly, amount of the monthly rent, then you can pre-screen by seeing if they at least make enough. If they don't make enough, don't waste your time. Sorry, I realize I'm sitting in my car and it's starting to heat up, and I don't have the engine running or the air conditioner going because my gas light is on and I don't want to have to walk out of here. Just saying. You know, go on vacation for 2 weeks, leave your car with your kids, come back and you have no gas. I mean, hey, it's all good, right? All right. So is there anything in particular you guys want to talk about? You need to understand the new rules when it comes to tenant screening, okay? If a tenant provides you with a credit report, you cannot charge them to run your own. We're going to have to start the car and roll down the window. Bear with me really quick. He's hauled. And my radio is going to blast, and then you guys are going to think I'm dorks. Okay, it's all good. And we have noisy cars. Lovely. I love you, Anna. You wrote me a book. I have a Larso tenant now month to month that gave me a written request to unblock her bathroom sink. When I called her to schedule a date to go in with a plumber, she said there will be a $60 charge. I said there will be a $60 charge for router service, and she said she will call me back. It's been 2 weeks now, and she never called to reschedule the repair. However, she made the repair without my knowledge or authorization and dropped off a written request to reimburse her for the parts and labor of a friend who installed it for her. I would like to know what kind of notice to give her for this unauthorized repair work she took upon herself without informing me. What should the notice say? The rental agreement says maintenance and alterations. Tenant must notify landlord within writing for needing service and repair. Okay, that's number one. Okay, is you're going to say that they were in violation of that term of the lease contract. There should also be another term of the lease contract that says something about unauthorized modifications to the property without written consent of the landlord. That would be the second thing that you're going to get them with. And then, well, I can't really do right to quiet enjoyment. I would put those two things in the lease as a lease violation and serve her a curable breach of covenant. You're not going to repay her for expenses. And in case she failed to notify you, she doesn't get to hire someone. It's not her house. So she's going to pay that bill to her friend, and you're going to give her a notice not to make any more repairs on the property without your written consent. It is a violation of her contract. And tell her, I don't, and see, that's where you get in trouble by telling them in advance if they're going to be responsible for the charge. I never tell them. I just send the plumber out there and then bill it back to them. That way they can't do things like this. They can't call their friend or say, oh, wait, never mind. I don't want to do it if it's going to cost me money. They don't get to have their friends use your property as a crash test dummy for their plumbing student. Hell no. You do it, you bill back. Okay. But that's how that happens. When you start telling them that they may be responsible for a charge, this is where that goes haywire. Okay, because then they don't want to pay. I don't want to pay. I know you don't want to pay. I ain't paying it. Are you paying it? See how that works? Are you paying attention? I hope this is making sense. Tell me you got all that, Anna. Okay. Okay, and for anybody else just joining us or logging in, I am live from a courthouse. I'm appearing in a trial as an expert witness today. So I'm getting prepared for that and just figured I'd come to you guys live from the courthouse steps. It sounds like something you'd see on the news, live from the courthouse steps. Yes, that's me, and that's where I am. All right, I see more questions coming through. Bear with me, you guys. Oh, no, just a thank you. Anna's got one long question. I'd attack though. You don't get to hire your friend to come out here and play house at my expense. It doesn't work that way. So I'd immediately let her know, not only am I not paying that, you're in violation of your written lease contract in two ways. Modifications to property without written consent of the landlord and not giving landlord timely notification to do repairs. How does a cure or quit notice work in the situation? If she does it again, do I have to issue another 3-day notice or just file for eviction? That is, I pushed the wrong button. Hang on. Sorry. That is a question for your attorney, not me. Make sense? How many curables do I need before I can do the quit? It's going to depend on what city it's in, what jurisdiction you're in, what court you're up against. Make sense? It's not legal advice. It's how long is that going to take, or what are judges looking for in that area as far as being successful on eviction for material breach. I had to think of a legal term. Been on vacation too many days, you guys. Got to get my brain back. And I had an epiphany while I was on vacation. We are going to write our own process and procedures manual within the next 6 months, folks. And you guys are going to help me and you don't even know it. Uh-oh, Val's having a tough time with something. What is it? I'm having a tough time finding a decent tenant, someone with a job, rental history, etc. What I have a ton of is dozens of farm workers, hint, hint, that have cash, double deposit, etc. Sounds good, but previous experience say 4 people and it's more like 24 people. Then charge per head. Charge, you guys, okay, I love you, Val. If we don't move with the changes are going to steamroll us. So if you have an abundance of migrant farm workers that are willing to pay through the nose, and they pay in cash, charge per head, have your property manager inspect the property monthly, randomly, as often as possible. Got it? I'm trying. And thank you guys, everybody, for being patient with me and my traveling schedule. Yes, I think we're going to write a property management process and procedures manual. I have a table of contents. I have the content. We're going to put that together and have a Widget's Way manual. Sounds so weird to me. Sorry. Our house rules say 150 per extra body, but in this case, it may say 500. Can I change my rules? Is it a single family residence? You can have your own rules for each property. Okay. I would, you got to take advantage of some of these things, you guys. If we got to find a way to swim so we don't sink. Simply said, you can have different criteria for each property that you own. So if you have a property in Beverly Hills, it does not have to have the same rental criteria as a property in Inglewood or Compton. I hope that makes sense to you. In other words, in Beverly Hills, you may require they make 3.5 times the rent and have a FICO score of 750 or higher. In Compton, you may require they make 2 times the amount of the rent and have a FICO score of 600 or higher. So you can have different rules for each property. But in a multifamily setting, you can have different criteria or different rules for each community. Okay, you can't change the rules for each tenant. That's where it becomes sticky. So if you have a multifamily community, the rules for that community have to be uniform and stay the same. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But if you have a single family and you have one in Torrance, you have one in Inglewood, and you have one in Beverly Hills, all 3 of them can have different criteria and all 3 of them can have different rules. It's just when you get into an apartment scenario, you cannot have different rules for different tenants. That would be considered discriminatory. Someone is calling me on Widget's Way, and I love it when they do that and they try to call me while we're in the middle of a meeting. It just doesn't work, you guys. I won't answer, but you can keep trying. All right, does anybody else have anything they want to go over today? Things we want to talk about? The new tenant criteria for a tenant providing their own, hang on a second. I think that was opposing counsel. He looks familiar, sorry. The new rules for tenants providing their own credit report is they can incur no expense. So stop trying to charge them an admin fee. You can't. There can be no expense to the tenant. Got it? No expense to the tenant. Simply said, we used to be able to pass the cost of doing business onto the tenant. We cannot do that anymore. We cannot pass the expense on to the tenant if they provide us with their own bullshit credit report that they printed off the internet that they used Photoshop to make changes on. It has to be you, the landlord, that decides whether you want to take their documentation as gold or spend your own money to see if they're a liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay? So that's how that works. Don't forget. There can be no expense to the tenant. This car's going, oh, it's a Tesla is why it's going off. Can we raise the rent on January for 10% in Sherman Oaks? Most likely. You're asking me to tell the future and my crystal ball is broken. I don't know if they're going to make, I don't believe that they're going to make any other changes or throw any snafus in our general direction. I know they're not going to make any more extensions, but I don't know how, when, where, why, because it's several months from now. October, November, December, 3 more months. Ask me in 90 days. I'll answer that question much better. Let me see why. Here we go. I didn't raise the rent for 4 years. I'm sorry, Victor. God love you for not raising the rent for 4 years. It's time. And when you guys are raising the rent, please raise the deposits as well. Remember, you can raise the deposit once annually, as much as you can do the rent increase. And it's not by the dollar amount, it's by the percentage, folks. So if your security deposit is $1,000 and your rent is $3,000 and you're doing a 10% increase, your rent increase is going to be $300, but your deposit increase can only be $100. Okay. I have a very nice 1-bedroom for rent. There is a single mom with 3 children. Doubt I want to choose her, but that is against state rules. Single family residence in Kern County. You never know. Single mom with 3 kids might not be so bad. I know, I am one. Always paid my rent on time, never been evicted. Then I have a 2-bedroom that 4 adults and 2 kids. Unbelievable. They say small houses are okay for all these people. They are living in a hotel now. There are no rentals in my town, so I am being bombarded with liars. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Yeah, they do lie, don't they? Yes, don't forget, if you guys are raising rents, raise deposits. And that's just me trying to help you. It's how we avoid having a house that has a $400 security deposit because the tenants have been there for 20 years. It's our fault. We never raised the deposit when we were increasing the rents. So definitely something that you want to do. It's how you stay on top of that. Okay. I used to have landlords all the time that would tell me in corporate America, well, Patty, we're increasing the rent. I don't need to increase the deposit too. And I'd have to tell them, tell me that when your deposit's only $400, you know? I'm trying to get everybody in here. Sorry, I'm late. I'm on the wrong day. This has just been a week, huh? I'm sorry, you guys. All right. Anybody have anything else, anything they want to talk about? I saw my Roadrunner peeps get back in here. So let me just remind you, no fees for tenants that are providing their own credit report. No expenses to them. They can't charge an admin fee, a processing fee, none of it. There can be no fee to the tenant. Okie doke. Here we go. The tenant will install new flooring in his unit for $1,000. His rent is $1,000. I want to offset this against one of his COVID rents. Should I write him a receipt to offset 1 month's rent? Nothing that work was exchanged. Or should I get an invoice receipt for the labor, pretend to pay him, and pretend to receive that money for the rent? I don't ever let a tenant do work on a property because they never do it. It's a bad business practice. Let me say it like this. In 20 years of doing management, my brother's a contractor. My dad's a licensed contractor. I have only had one one of those that actually worked out and did such a good job, I hired him to be a contractor for our company. One out of 20 years. Anytime a tenant wants to do work on the property, oh no, I'm sorry, the owner's insurance won't cover that. They won't, their insurance won't cover you to do work on the property. You're the tenant here, not a contractor. So unless you have your own contractor's license and you tenant also have insurance that you're going to do this job properly, I don't want you doing work here, because in the event the job isn't done correctly, I want to be able to sue the pants off the person that installed it. If that's you, I have no recourse. So I don't let tenants install anything, flooring. I don't let them make modifications. I learned the hard way. I had one that put in a kitchen cabinet once. And when he moved out, he took the kitchen cabinet with him. I sued the pants off of him. Yes, I did. No, you're not doing that to me twice. What if they agreed to have us run their credit? Some applied via Zillow, who charged them $29 to apply, but only supply a very simple report with skimpy information, except a FICO score and a background check. Then that's between them and Zillow. Zillow's going to have to put a stop to that, just so you know. They're going to have to make some changes. They're going to have to tweak some things around. I mean, I don't know a simpler way to explain it. We can't have tenants incur the expenses on credit reports anymore. We cannot. It is not allowed. We used to be able to pass that expense onto a tenant. We can't do it anymore. It's that simple. Don't overthink it. Okay? Don't overthink it. Yes, the cost of doing business has gone up. And for our independent landlords, that means more expense to us. For corporate America, it's not more expensive for us per se. We're just not getting paid for doing our due diligence, if you will, by having the screening fee. And if we want to run our own credit report for safety's sake, then we have to pay for it. Don't forget your pre-screening stuff, okay, you guys? But you absolutely cannot charge a tenant that is providing a credit report any screening fee. Yeah, it's an assembly bill and it passed on October 1st. And I don't remember the assembly bill number, and I'm in my car at the courthouse, so I can't look it up. I'm sorry. Also, 1277 passed, or was it 1477? That doesn't allow for wage garnishments. That'll take effect in 2023. I don't remember which month. You guys, they took away our teeth. We can't do wage garnishments going forward starting in 2023.
Hey, Patty. It's
Hi.
Assembly Bill 2559.
Is for the credit report.
Yeah.
And this is why I love my team. You guys are all awesome. Thank you. Teamwork, baby. It makes the dream work, believe it or not. Please repeat it. My Roadrunner girls, come back.
2559.
Assembly Bill 2559.
Chapter 288.
Okay, everybody's happy now. I'm going to make everybody's like totally panicking. We don't know what to do. What do we do with this? Stop. Slow down. We used to be able to pass that cost on to the tenant. We can't pass it off on to them anymore. Now we eat it. That's it. Don't overthink this. Please. Can we charge our admin fee? No, no expense to the tenant is how the law reads. No expense. Damn it. Anybody here going to Agla's trade show next week on the 18th? It'll be at the Pasadena Convention Center. I'm just asking if anybody will be attending. I will be there in the AGLA booth. I think they have me speaking at 3 o'clock again, which I don't like, but I have to double check. And the only reason I'm hanging out in AGLA's booth is they're doing free wine tasting. Why wouldn't I? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. How long will it take to get what meeting on YouTube? The one we're having right this second? Probably later today or tomorrow. I could ask my web guy, do you need me to do it in a hurry? Did you miss me that much? I'm kidding. I'm so kidding, you guys. Being a little feisty one. Gotta watch out. Put Patty on a leash. I can have him put it up today. It's not an issue. Just to get my notice correct. Oh, I got you. Modifications to the property and the paragraph you showed me. I missed last week. What did we talk about last week? We talked about this new law about tenant credit reports and I don't know. We talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You know that. Whatever you guys want is what we do. Oh, there's some very interesting people walking by and they see me talking to myself in my car. They probably think I'm some kind of wackadoo crackhead. Oh, don't mind that little blonde sitting in her car talking to herself. She's fine. There's only like 17 other people she's having a conversation with. You just can't see them. Okay, I'm embarrassed because they're like totally staring at me and think I'm some weirdo. I don't care. We should start singing Kumbaya or something. Hi, how are you? Maybe they know who I am. Maybe they're watching me live and laughing. We couldn't be so lucky, right? Oh, goodness. If anybody is currently waiting to do an eviction, stop waiting. Go. Just saying. A lot of people are waiting, and then when they get in there, they're like, well, it's going to take 45 days to do an eviction. And I'm like, no, it's going to take you 5 or 6 months. I don't know who told you 45 days, but they were wrong. It can't go that fast, even if you want to. And everybody says evictions aren't fast enough. Evictions aren't fast enough. Well, here's what I have to tell you guys. Hold on, somebody's trying to call me again. Evictions aren't fast enough. They take forever. They are the fastest moving court case other than emergency child custody orders. They are the fastest court case to go through is an eviction. Unlawful detainer runs on a different calendar. I know it takes forever and it's not fast enough for us, you guys, but please understand if you move a case from eviction that takes 3 to 5 months as a rough estimate to a civil matter takes 3 to 5 years. Now, do you understand that an eviction runs on an expedited calendar? I know it doesn't seem that way because they don't go fast enough for us. But when you take 3 to 5 months versus 3 to 5 years, it sings a whole different song. I received a ton of paperwork from Fast Evict in order to proceed to collections. New rules, new forms. It was like 30 pages. Here's what I would do if I were you. I'd send over your disposition as security deposit and then ask them what else they need. The rental agreement, the application, and ask them what else they need. Somebody's moving from the side of me. It freaked me out. I forgot I rolled that window down. Property is under Larso. One of the tenants have lived there since 1990. The wife is a pain in the neck. There are no pains in the neck. There's only a pain in the ass. Okay, I'm kidding. A miserable woman. She has asked me to address any emails and or text to Mr. and Mrs. Blah or the Blah family. It is her husband's email address and mobile number. It is 21st century now. Should I listen to her? Sounds to me like she's old school and just trying to give you proper etiquette and wants you to remain a business professional relationship. But what do I know? If she's older, she could be retired and she doesn't have anything better to do all day. I had something similar happen to me, but mine wasn't retired. And I actually goofed. See, every month I had to write a letter to my landlords explaining to them what deductions they saw in their statement. You know, the garbage disposal was plugged. We had to send someone over there, whatever the issue was. Well, this time I wrote a letter to the landlord explaining to him that we needed to reintroduce good organisms into his septic tank and that the bad organisms had taken over and that we needed to reintroduce good organisms into his septic tank so that those organisms could do their job properly and break down the waste. Only the person I wrote this letter to was not retired. They were studying for the state bar. And autocorrect, God love autocorrect, didn't put organisms. It corrected it to orgasms. I sent it out. I got a phone call. Oops, autocorrect. We laughed and joked about it, but you know, hey, we are human, guys. Okay, let me see what else is going on here. Miss Biden demands to be called Dr. Biden. The Val. She doesn't have a job, but I call them Mr. Blah and Mrs. Blah per their request. Do you know, my son wanted to change his name at one time to Bob, B-O-B, Bob, and his last name, Loblaw, Lawblah, Loblaw. That way he could be Bob Loblaw. No, we did not change his name. I think he was about 18 when he wanted to change his name to Bob Loblaw. What's your name? Bob Loblaw? I know, right? You really want to upset them? Just refer to them as residents. Hello, residents, and thank you so much for residing in our community or at our property. Resident in our community. Resident. I don't always give tenants what they want, and sometimes I'm a little feisty about it. Mr. and Mrs. Resident. I like that one too. Okay, you guys, so starting in 2023, we're not going to be able to do wage garnishments anymore for monies owed to us through landlord-tenant debt. So I don't know what we're going to do. There's no recourse. I did talk to our collection agency at Fast Evict. We are continuing to pursue. We have no doubt that this will be contested and or argued and or litigated and revamped or something. All right. Does anybody have anything else? Anybody? Anybody? If not, I'm going to end it for today. Please do not vote for Karen Bass. Don't even know who that is. Remember me, I don't watch the news. I try to stay out of politics and just follow law. In other words, I try really hard not to look at what might become law. I try because it just makes me upset. It's a mayor candidate for LA City. Okay. And Val says, please do not vote for Karen Bass. Thank you, Val. When it comes close to election time, I'll have people post their best candidates for landlord rights. And we'll just leave it up there as an opinion, okay? A lot of people don't know which way to vote. They just want to vote in the direction that's best for them. And sometimes they need somebody else to tell them or advise them that's paying attention. I'll leave my statement at that. I remember when I registered to vote, it was just so the other person wouldn't win. That's why I registered to vote. So, hey, we all do it. We all need to do it. All right, you guys, if nobody has anything else, I'm going to head into the courtroom. I have trial starting here in about 30 minutes. So I need to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row and I meet the attorney. A tenant just left versus pay October's rent. Fine with me. The original tenant had gone to jail, but is out now. Now he is calling for his deposit. Who's calling it for his deposit? The original tenant or the subtenant? Because I believe as per your lease contract, your tenant has to give you a 30-day notice in writing. If they didn't give you a 30-day notice in writing, then you can charge them 30 days worth of rent, and that may help you capture that deposit. You paying attention? Does that make sense? You need me to say it again, Val? Yeah, they need to pay October's rent and then damages. Bingo. Bingo. She got it. Oh yeah, I'm not worried about the court case at all. But thank you, Arlene. I appreciate all of you cheering me on. Sometimes I need it. I sure needed it. What's today? Thursday? On Tuesday. I needed my team. All right, you guys, have a great week. If you need me, hunt me down. We'll be back live on Wednesday next week. No problem. And everybody have a great day. Bye.